came away with the 3 points, and I'm sure we'll be able to speak to him about it now.
Yes, they certainly did. A huge cheer, as you can see, as Ruben Amorim comes to join us. Thank you, Ruben. Good to see you.
Okay.
And congratulations. I'm sure you went through all sort of emotions during that one this evening. Just sum up how you're feeling at the end of it all, though.
In the end, it's good. Very difficult game. A game of duels, same system. I think they did a very good job. Southampton creating space between the lines, and then the number 20 with a lot of space behind. We had some difficulties to stop that player. But then when they lose the physicality in the end of the game, in the last 30 minutes, we find the space to use, and then we could change the game. But the feeling is that we have so much to do. I felt the team really tired because Liverpool, Arsenal, 120 minutes, and then it's not just tired, the physical part of the player, is the mental part of the player. So was a win, was good. Let's continue.
And Ahmad, the talisman again for you, delivering at the end. Just how key was it to get him in those areas where he can do that sort of damage for you?
Even in the first half, every time Ahmad has the ball, he can push the ball. Sometimes he cannot. He doesn't take one player, but he pushes the other team to the final third inside the box. And that type of players is really important. Like I said, we didn't do a very good game, but in this moment, winning is the most important thing.
I was going to say, Ruben, I felt after the Liverpool game where I think the performance was really good. I sensed after the game a bit of a frustration from you. From where's that been? Where's that mentality been? That carried on to last week against Arsenal. I think you've been probably looking for a bit more of that mentality, that strength, that almost, what's the word? Enthusiasm for the game tonight, which wasn't quite there again for 70-75 minutes. And what do you put that down to? Tiredness playing there?
It's not just tired, but playing in this stadium. We lost the last 3 games here, and the pressure is different because we try to press the opponent in build up, and you can feel it, the difficulties. And then Mateus between the lines and dribbling between the lines with creates a lot of problem, and we have difficulties to press high in the moment. Yeah. This team is not used to do that, and then it seems like lack of enthusiasm. So Ugarte is late, Kobe Mainu is late, Bruno going outside, the ball is inside, and then one transition and Lenny Yoro cannot catch the guy. These small things push the team behind, and then we get nervous without ball. But then when you have one click, one goal, one opportunity, you feel like the team can control better the game. Yeah. So I want to be fair with my players. Today was not a lack of enthusiasm, was a lack of speed, and sometimes lack of control of the game.
I was going to say, a lot's been made of your philosophy and the 3-4-1-2-1 system. I was just going to ask you, do you think you've got the players suited to that? And if you haven't, how long do you think it could take to get to that level?
First of all, it's hard. Of course, they are not used to play like that, because you have to cover a lot of space. You have to jump. We have to change which player is jumping on the press, and then with the ball today, we saw that we have some patterns when the ball is in the sides of the pitch, but then we lose the duels. It's hard to explain now. We don't have the training, so I cannot tell you that they can do it or not. Yeah. But it's a different system. It's so completely different what they are used to do it. So I don't know how long it's going to take. But the profile sometimes you can understand is not the right ones. But we have to improve players, and we know the situation of the club. You have to continue.
Bruno, you mentioned there obviously the problems, but what did you say to them to solve it then at half time? Because you looked frustrated, the ground was frustrated, and they weren't doing what you wanted to do. So what was you telling them then at half time?
The first thing is more to close the middle and to push the ball outside, because we had a lot of problems the ball between the lines. And then I told them to in the game of duels we have to keep the ball, and sometimes you see it, the ball in the Ahmad or Nus ball inside and Rasmus wants to turn the ball. We have to keep the ball because just one connection change side of the game and the field is open. And then I told them that in this kind of teams that they were pressing man to man, the simple things of good pass and movement, good reception is the key to the simple things is the key to get the chances. I think they improve in the second half.
Ruben, we have to let you go, but thanks so much for coming out to join us.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We know we have a quality player in this team. We need some time to be more hungry in the final third. And today we show at the end we were the best team in the pitch. And I'm so happy for the win today because this team deserves it.
You were a real bright spark throughout the match personally. Do you feel a responsibility to play that position, to take that responsibility in this team?
I'm ready to play every position. I'm ready to play right wing back, number 10, where the manager like to pull me. I'm ready to fight for this club. So it never matter to play where I am. I'm so happy to play where the manager wanted me to play. So I'm so happy to score a hat-trick, and the most important thing is the win for the club.
Well, congratulations. You are the player of the match. Here's your award. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Emma. And Emma, the second youngest hat-trick scorer for Manchester United after Wayne Rooney. Just listen to that reaction, Karen, as he walks off the pitch. Saved them so often recently, actually, and what's been a really tough period for them.
Yeah, as like Paul said, he's been an absolute bright spark, and we're just watching him walk off now, and there's so many people that have stayed behind. Standing ovation as he's walking up to the corner there out of the ground, but it was a bright spark and he really pushed them back. But Peters really struggled 1v1 with him towards the end. I think Southampton massively tired, and after 60 minutes when Diblin went off and Fernandes at 75th minute, that was them gone then, and Man United just turned the screw.
Well, lots more.
In a point where they probably needed to go for it a little bit more, they just kind of made changes, got a bit too defensive, and United got the upper hand. But they actually, for large parts, Southampton, you would have never known they were the last place team.
But it felt like, Rachel, that the equaliser was coming, but to then see two more conceded in the dying moments, I mean, what is that going to do to the morale of a side that's already bottom?
Yeah, it's going to be extremely difficult, but they had opportunities to get that second, and ultimately, when you don't do that, at 1-0, you're always vulnerable. Even as a better team, you're always vulnerable the longer the game stays 1-0. And when you're at Man United, when you're bottom of the league, you start to make changes. Players know on the pitch, when you start to make changes that feel a little bit more defensive, I know certainly as a player, you know when you see managers do that, you think, oh, no, we're on the front foot, I think we're all right.
Yeah.
There's something, it just changes something psychologically. And, maybe that was just another difference that in the end went against them.
An incredible few days comes to an end then in the Premier League after this latest match week. So a quick reminder, I mean, he bailed them out is a bit of an understatement, Owen.
Big time. And he deserves his new deal because he's the one, even you saw in that game against Manchester City, they didn't play great, but Ahmad showed up right at the end in the big moments. And he's only 22, but for such a young man, he has a feel for the big moments. I mean, imagine if they would have lost to Southampton today. 82 minutes, they were 1-0 down, and somehow he just grabbed the game. He got the ball and he just kept running at people, committing people. Okay, at times you get a little bit of good fortune, like he did with the little ricochet Walker Peters, but he makes things happen. Man United fans are used to seeing wingers get on the ball and make things happen, and Ahmad does that. So credit to him. He's smiling, he's scoring goals. He's just, you got to love watching him.
Yeah, and at 22, to show the composure that he did. Because everything was on the line, really, wasn't it, for Manchester United at that point?
He's a confident player, and I think even just listen to his interview, he's got an attitude and a charisma about him that I think is exactly what Man United need a little more of. That's the one we spoke about, the ricochet, but just because he comes in with intensity, it almost helps him get that ricochet. That's the reason it does fall in his favour. And
he's so positive, isn't he, Rachel?
He wants to get at
He's straight at you.
Yeah. And it's a good finish. He knows he's going to probably hit it hard, and he keeps it low. Ramsdale tries as quickly as he can to make himself big, and he sneaks it underneath him. But he was the one throughout. You know, he wanted to be the difference, and he does it for the team. And I think just the energy he has, bringing the fans involved, and those are the things. So in the first half, Hoyland getting frustrated. You see other players, they throw the arms up, they get annoyed, they try and shoot from distance when maybe there's a better option. I feel he's the one, although he's young, he feels like he does more things for the team, and that's why I think it's easy to be pleased for him to see him get the 3 goals.
I mean, you'd expect that to come from some of the more senior players, right? Not somebody who's the club is building the future around, essentially, right now.
But you could tell the way that his teammates were hugging him after he scored.
Yeah.
Do you know, they were like, thanks. Thanks a lot. You saved us a lot of grief.
Yeah.
And that's how they look up to him, even though he's probably one of the youngest out there. He's the guy that they get him the ball and he just runs at people. It wasn't good football, by the way. They didn't play good football today. Southampton were probably equal, but they had a guy out there in Diallo who he just makes things happen. And sometimes that's all you need, but they definitely need to play better than they did today.
The second goal was a slicker move, the 1-2 with Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, the second goal's a great move, but again, you see him, he gets the ball in a space where he can face up Walker Peters. He walks it down the line, and you just see here Eriksen just the weight of the pass from him in the first instance allows Eriksen to play it first time. He knows he then has the pace and the power to accelerate. He knows the ball's going to come back to him, and that's also intelligent play. This little pass here, it's soft enough that he knows it's coming first time. Beautiful ball from Eriksen. Just that's a difficult pass.
That's
really
a brilliant ball.
pass.
But not one other United winger would make that run after playing that ball to Eriksen. They'd stand still. He plays the ball and he runs forward, Manish. He runs into an area where he can affect the game. That's why Eriksen plays in the ball. That's a difficult finish. By the way, the young guy, he just gets it and he runs at you. And he puts defenders under pressure. And you got to love that. I love just the fact he keeps running. He wants to make things happen. I know it sounds very simple, but it's important.
Yeah, Xerxes was involved in that first. Eriksen clearly in the second. Substitutes played a massive role in the end.
Yeah, well, for both sides, I think for United and Southampton kind of lost control of the game. I mean, that's why they're 20th. They played so well. We were brave, tried to play football our abilities. Look, he's a good young player, can't make mistakes like that. But one thing, Rachel, we mentioned, Diallo, he presses, doesn't he? He's so good pressing.
And he makes you think you've just a few more seconds than you do, and then he's on top of you. It's really poor, really poor from Southampton. But Ahmad's done that. A few goals United have scored recently, but it's that pressure that he comes at pace, sneaks it.
Hello, welcome back to the Transfer Show. It's time now to go around the clubs. James, are you ready? Take it away.
It feels like we're ready. It feels like it's right about time that Arsenal did some business as well. Mikel Arteta has admitted that Arsenal are actively looking for a striker in this window amid injuries to Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka.
West Ham have maintained a long-term interest in John Duran. However, Villa thought to want more than £70 million for the striker.
Let's get to the South Coast. Bournemouth have agreed a deal with Chelsea for signing of academy product Zane Silcott-Dewberry. And Andoni Iraola also wants to sign a striker this month.
On to Brentford. Thomas Frank says it will be incredibly large as a fee for Brentford to accept an offer for Brian Mbeumo. Frank remains confident in his team's ability to keep their best players during this window.
Let's get to Brighton. They're in action right now against Ipswich. They've expressed an interest in signing centre-back Tosin from Chelsea. Tosin only moved to Stamford Bridge on a free transfer in the summer. It's unclear at this stage whether Chelsea will be prepared to let him go.
Chelsea's interest in Mark Guéhi in this transfer window is expected to be over. That's after centre-back Trevor Chalobah was recalled from his loan, Crystal Palace.
On to Crystal Palace now themselves. Atlanta United have made a £15 million bid for striker Odsonne Edouard. The forward is currently on loan at Leicester City.
David Moyes wants to strengthen the squad in this window. Lyon's Ernest Nuama is keen on a move to the Premier League in this transfer window amid interest from a number of clubs. Everton have held talks with Lyon over the Ghana international, but the change in manager has delayed the deal from progressing.
Marco Silva this afternoon, he's told teams not to waste their time inquiring about Rodrigo Muniz as he is not for sale. When he started Fulham's first 3 league games, has only started twice since in the Premier League.
Don't waste your time. Ipswich have completed the signing of Jayden Philogene from Aston Villa. He'll join them on a 4.5-year deal with a transfer worth 20 million plus some add-ons.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, they need some work, don't they, in this transfer window? He said Leicester will explore all options when it comes to strengthening their squad. The Leicester boss says his side are open to both loans and permanent transfers in their quest for staying up in the division.
Saudi champions Al Hilal are ready to offer Mohamed Salah a lucrative contract if he wants to leave Europe and play in Saudi Arabia. We also understand that Trent Alexander-Arnold has not verbally agreed a pre-contract to join Real Madrid at the end of the season. That's despite reports in Spain.
As we've been reporting, Vitor Reis is travelling to the UK today to finalise his move to Manchester City. Now, City agreed a deal with Palmeiras worth £29.4 million for the 18-year-old centre-back. Meanwhile, Manchester City are holding further talks today with Eintracht Frankfurt about a deal for striker Omar Mahmoud. The clubs are yet to reach an agreement over the financial terms of the deal. Frankfurt wants £67 million for the player.
Borussia Dortmund are now pushing to sign Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford. According to Sky in Germany, they understand the internal talks were held and the club have made the decision to pursue the England international on loan. AC Milan are also very concrete in their interest and are actively trying to secure a deal themselves.
Atlanta United, we heard about them already in this transfer window. They're now in advanced talks to sign Newcastle United winger Miguel Almiron. It's understood an offer of £8 million plus add-ons is on the table and close to being agreed. Almiron back to Atlanta United.
The Telegraph are reporting that Nottingham Forest will explore a deal to sign Johan Visser from Brentford. That's if Taiwo Awoniyi leaves the club this month.
Southampton are in action against Manchester United. Kick off at 8 p.m. this evening. Their boss Ivan Juric remains hopeful of additions to help his side beat the drop.
Tottenham's priority in this transfer window remains a forward. They're discussing other targets. That's after Randall Kolo Muani agreed to move to Juventus.
West Ham United, they're focusing on signing a new striker in this window. Brighton's Evan Ferguson, Aston Villa's John Duran and also Fulham's Rodrigo Muniz are all possible targets, but Marco Silva says no.
And finally, Vitor Pereira says that he does not need former Wolves captain Mario Lemina following a 3-0 loss to Newcastle. Pereira revealed that Lemina has asked to leave the club amid interest from the Saudi Pro League.
OK, welcome back. Sky Italy are reporting that Manchester United forward Alejandro Garnacho is Napoli's first choice to replace Kwicha Kvaratskhelia with the Italian side, under the impression the fee would be around £59 million. Despite that, Ruben Amorim says he sees a bright future for Garnacho at United.
Is he a player that you see having a good future at United?
Yeah, that is clear. He has talent. He needs to learn to play a little bit in a different position. He needs to play better inside. He improves a lot the recovering position when he doesn't have the ball. But doing that, sometimes he's not in the right place to make transition like he was in the past, because I prefer to defend and then build up with all the team to reach the final third. So he's finding the best way to play in this system. Is improving. Is improving during training. So he started the last game. Let's see.
Yeah, so we'll see. Nick, how important is Garnacho at United, do we think?
Well, positive words from Amorim there, but in terms of game time under the new manager, you have to say he does seem to have become less important over the last few weeks. So here we have a comparison between his numbers under Erik ten Hag. Of course, he was a key player for ten Hag, wasn't he? Regular starter. And here he is under Ruben Amorim on the other side. So 14 games played for ten Hag, 12 under Amorim, but actually only 5 of those 12 appearances have been starts, so he has mostly been used as a substitute. Now we can see the difference in his productivity as well. He hasn't been as effective under Amorim. So under ten Hag in those early months of the season, 5 goals and 3 assists in all competitions. That averaged as a goal involvement it was 0.84 per 90 minutes for him in that period. Compare that to under Amorim and there is a big drop off, isn't there? So only 1 goal, only 1 assist and a goal involvement it's 0.28 per 90 minutes for him now. So a drop in productivity and a drop in playing time. So an interesting one there. Interesting to see what happens with his future, of course, with clubs from elsewhere looking